Well, hello there, Doctor. Ah, hello there, Doctor. Well, I haven't seen you since, the Cathedral Contemplation. Yes, when I met the Daleks. Yes, the Daleks. Nice to meet you. Likewise. If you remember that scene from that Doctor Who special edition I did, I was doing the voice of David Tennant and Tom Baker in that disturbance in the multiverse. Because, I mean, as you can see, I got the action figures of David Tennant and Tom Baker here. And this is a 1987 action figure. Very old, very vintage. What can I say? I love antiques. Of course, I need to get a little... Of course, I need to be easy with it because the joints is a little flimsy. And I can tell these thumbs can snap off. At least this one has a rubbery kind of plastic. This one just have hard plastic. But I always love holding this up saying, "Ah, hello there. Would you like a jelly baby? They're very good." And this one saying, "I don't eat." And that's the reason why I prefer these guys, because they're the most iconic ones of them all. I mean, if everybody ever thought about the classics, you always think of Tom Baker. It's just too bad the manufacturer didn't think about giving him a scarf. But I'm sure I found a way to put a scarf on him, have somebody I met who does arts and craft and create a miniature scarf for him. And of course, everybody knows the modern Doctor Who, and the most icon modern version of Doctor Who is David Tennant. And you know, it kind of made you wonder, how come nobody had never thought up the idea of Tom Baker and David Tennant crossing over at all? I mean, I know that in the Matt Smith era, in the 50th anniversary, they had Matt Smith meets Tom Baker playing the Curator, but never Tom Baker Doctor meeting David Tennant's Doctor. But of course, Tom Baker might be very old. I guess that's why they made him a Curator instead of the Doctor. But everybody always wishes for one of these days Tom Baker and David Tennant should cross over. And of course, I did review a lot of things from Doctor Who that I have. I mean, I mentioned to you guys before. I mean, I did review Star Trek and Doctor Who, which I did a pretty good job reviewing that comic book series. And of course, I do have a couple of comics. I just wish I like to have the omnibus of the classic and maybe some of the modern. But I got these comic book issue given to me by a friend of mine who went to Ollie's. You know, I've never been to Ollie's in my life. One of these days, I would like to find the nearest Ollie's and go to that place. Sounds like they have a store that has a lot of stuff I might like. And of course, I would have reviewed novels, and this is there are tons of Doctor Who books out there, and the only book I have is this, the wonderful Doctor of Oz, sort of a Doctor Who crossover with the Wizard of Oz, but the problem is, I'm a slow reader. I mean, I tried to read it, but the problem is I can't read books because I'm a very slow reader. I mean, if I do try to continue on reading, I'll have a hard time trying to pronounce some of the words. Like, you know, I have a hard time trying to pronounce people's last names and try to pronounce some of the words. And right now, they done some more crossover on the novels. I mentioned about David Tennant's Doctor in Camelot. Tom Baker's Doctor meets Robin Hood. Matt Smith Doctor in Treasure Island. And of course, this here. But there's also another one, believe it or not. There is Peter Davidson's Doctor in Wonderland. And of course, Colin Baker's Doctor in Josephine and the Argonauts. Is it supposed to be Jason and the Argonauts? And of course, believe it or not, some of you remember my pilot of Doctor Who, where my doctor deals with Frankenstein. Well, they did Christopher Eccleston Doctor in Frankenstein and the Patchwork Man. Are they trying to take something out of my stories? But one thing that I never mention about is, of course, Big Finish. I mean, I knew I reviewed that one website series that they did from BBC I. Death Comes to Time. And I never thought about doing a Big Finish. Now, sadly, I cannot afford a big... I mean, I have a Big Finish account, but I can't buy any of the audios online because I don't know how to order things online. But thanks to this certain company called Spotify, I get to listen most of the Doctor Who series, and the only ones I've been listening lately is mostly the 8th Doctor Adventures with Paul McGann. And then all of a sudden, Big Finish decided to do something pretty awesome. And I mentioned this in one of my reviews, but I'm going to go delve into it. And it's the one that I've been hoping for, where Tom Baker's Doctor and David Tennant cross over for the first time. And I got this on CD, and it is Doctor Who Out of Time. First time you see David Tennant and Tom Baker together for the first time. And I figured, what the hell? Let's dig into Doctor Who Out of Time and see if hearing them together for the first time would be the awesome thing in the world. Spoilers, it is. Now, the story starts off in the Cathedral of Contemplation, where it's supposed to be a space church, since it is a cathedral. And David Tennant shows up, and he meets the Abbess. The Abbess, played by Claire Rushbrook, which I've seen her in the episode of David Tennant, where David Tennant deals with the beast that represents the devil. And of course, he has the assistant who goes by the name of Cavall, played by Nicholas Asbury. Now, I've seen Nicholas Asbury in some of the episodes, some of the classics actually, but I can't think of which one that he did. And while the Abbess took David Tennant into one room, David Tennant decided to, the 10th Doctor, that's what he's supposed to be called, the 10th Doctor decided to break the rules, use a sonic screwdriver, and go to another room, and there is Tom Baker himself painting a portrait, and he's been assisted by a girl who goes by the name of Jorah, played by the lovely Catherine Drysdale. Now, I've seen her in Benidorm, and I also seen her in Doctor Who Love and Monsters, the worst David Tennant episode ever made. But anyway, it's the first time that the 10th meets the 4th. Imagine that. And of course, he says he's the Doctor, but he asks him who he is, and he says, "Well, my name is John Tyler. My name's John Tyler." John Tyler? Thinking about Rose, eh? And then from out of nowhere, out comes this military guy who goes by the name of Captain Xenu, still played by Nicholas Asbury. Yeah, some of the people in this audio played two characters. Anyway, turns out that the captain is looking for his daughter, which is Jorah. he's looking for his daughter Jorah and trying to get her back because there's a war going on, and he needs her back, even though she refused to go back involving the war because she just doesn't want to kill anymore. She doesn't want to continue on as a soldier killing people. But he said, "This is your destiny. You should do it." But of course, Tom Baker blocked her and says, "She's a young girl. She chooses her own destiny. You don't have to force her to join your army and get involved in a war." But he was like, "Get out of my way. Mind your own business." But of course, the abbess showed up and knew what David Tennant had done, so they took David Tennant away and asked him to take his sonic screwdriver away. So pretty much, 10th Doctor is in big trouble. Unbelievable. And all of a sudden, the door started to open, and the abbess was about ready to greet the new ones, where it turns out it was the Daleks showed up. And when they're trying to welcome them and friendly welcoming, they were like, "You will be exterminated! Exterminate! Exterminate!" And of course, the guy who does the voice of the Daleks is, of course, Nicholas Briggs. That's right, the same Nicholas Briggs who played the Doctor in the audio-visual series of Doctor Who. Yeah, that's right. I mean, he played Doctor Who in the fan-made audio-visual series. But ever since he got himself into the BBC and Big Finish, he continued on being the producer, the writer, director, and also the voice of the Daleks and the Cybermen and other aliens. Now, of course, the captain, he has one of his soldiers. Her name is Marna, who is also voiced by Claire Rushbrook, the same woman who plays the Abbess. And, of course, the Dalek exterminated the Abbess. So now, the 10th and the 4th decided to work together in trying to save all these people in the cathedral and get them away from the Daleks. But of course, here's the shocker. Turns out that the captain, he was a traitor. Turns out he was a Dalek clone. And since he found the 4th Doctor, he summoned the Daleks to capture the 4th Doctor. That's a bummer. While the 10th, he showed up, and he showed up with Cavell, and Cavell gave him his sonic screwdriver, and also Jorah decided to open the door. It leads to the island where David Tennant first appeared before he showed up in the cathedral, and tried to get everybody out of the cathedral because of the Daleks. Now, the Daleks were trying to go to Earth, but, believe it or not, I mean, they were torturing the 4th Doctor, trying to get information to go to Earth. And of course, the 10th Doctor showed up, and he also gave him a different location. So when the Daleks showed up on the doorway, they got destroyed because they showed up in the far future where Earth gets destroyed because they're being too close to the sun. But there's another Earth, Earth 2, if you watch the Eccleston series. So pretty much, Jorah saved the Doctors and get them out of their interrogation devices. And she finally got the door open and told them to go. And of course, David Tennant decided to hold the door while Jorah gets everybody out. And of course, the 4th Doctor went through, but he tells the 10th Doctor to come, and he says, I gotta hold it here. Or else I can't save anybody or stop the Daleks. But of course, the fourth Doctor had his sonic screwdriver, and he held the door enough to let the 10th finally go through the door, and now they both shut off the door with their sonic screwdriver, and now the cathedral is destroyed along with the Daleks. So now they're in this planet with Jorah and some of the troops and the pilgrims. So they all started to celebrate by having a huge party at the island. And of course, the fourth tells the 10th about how the future is going to be, and he nice to know that the future is in good hands. And all of a sudden, the fourth Doctor left in his TARDIS, and the 10th Doctor decided to stay in the island to celebrate the victory. And that was the end of Doctor Who Out of Time. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this was the best audio drama and the best crossover between the 4th and the 10th Doctor ever, because this is what all the fans was hoping for, including yours truly, because I always heard that the 4th Doctor has always been the huge icon of them all, and David Tennant is like the second icon for the modern era. So, and of course, they also been doing some more out-of-time crossover audios, like David Tennant shows up in Doctor Who Out of Time Part 2, The Gates of Hell, where he meets his father-in-law, Peter Davison, the 5th Doctor. Gee, he crossed over to meet his father-in-law. And then, and of course, they were battling against the Cybermen on that one. Gates of Hell. While Out of Time Part 3, Wink, David Tennant meets Colin Baker's Doctor, the one in the rainbow outfit, and they're dealing against the Weeping Angels. But, I mean, they might be pretty good, but the very first one is the best. The best of the best. So, if any of you want to hear a really good crossover between the 10th and the 4th, get yourself a CD or download it on MP3. I mean, trying to find an audio of it and download it and keep it. Get it from either Big Finish or somewhere. Too bad it's not available on Spotify. But hey. Although one thing I thought it was really interesting, though, there was a certain YouTube that I really do admire. His name is Josh Nez. Josh Nez, he calls himself. Josh Nez. Now, he's a Whovian and a YouTuber, and one thing he did, he decided to take some of the Big Finish audio drama and animate them. But sadly, to the YouTube copyright claim, you know, those bastards. They didn't want him to upload the animated video with the audio attached. So the only thing that Josh Nez had to do is upload the animated series, but cut off the sound. So the only thing you can do, you can watch the animated one, just buy a CD, go to YouTube, find the animated video, and you can play the audio on the CD while watching the video, or order it on Big Finish and do that. And I have to say to you, Josh, you did a really great job. I mean, I have to say I was really impressed with your animation ideas. Gee, there are times I wish I liked to learn about animation myself, so I could turn my Doctor Who audio series, both Doctor Who and my Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers series, and turn them into animation. That's one thing I would like to do, because on my YouTube channel, I want to step up to the next level and turn my audios into animated series. And that's what I had in mind. very much. Well, this is my review for today. And if any of you like my review of Doctor Who Out of Time from Big Finish, for the love of stories, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more. As for me, time for me to get out of my Doctor Who outfit because this will be my last. But I'll probably come back with some more info about Doctor Who. And thanks for those of you who commented on my latest video talking about Billie Piper being the Doctor, which it's so freaking confusing. I just want to grab a 2x4, find Russell T Davies, and whack him in the head for confusing the hell out of me. But I'm sure it's a part of his plan. And also, another thing I also heard, CBBC is planning to do an animated series for kids of Doctor Who, which I gotta say, that's interesting. I mean, last time I ever heard about an animated Doctor Who, they were planning to do a animated series of Doctor Who in order to sell toys, sort of pick up where Sylvester McCoy left off, where they had this Doctor who looks more like Peter O'Toole. And it was from that Canadian animated company, which name escapes me. I mentioned about it in my either Sylvester McCoy era or my Paul McGann era. So I hope that the animated series for kids goes well. But anyway, this my review for the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, see you later.